you blew through a bunch of stuff. You were like, law enforcement, whatever. But you
Yeah.
were. Tell me about your involvement in the SWAT teams. And what you do.
Yeah. So with when I was younger and started off when I was at the sheriff's office, I started out as just SWAT team member.
Okay.
It was kind of funny because the agency really didn't have a formal tryout at the time. I mean, this was back in the mid '90s.
Okay.
And the guy that was on the team before me was pretty close to my size. So the tactical vest fit.
We're like, you fit.
So I'm like, whatever, So at least that's what my team leader told me. Great guy.
You're only here because you fit the vest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, yeah, great. But it's been an adventure for sure. But started out, just as a SWAT team member and went into various roles from a breacher to being a sniper. To training officer for the team, element leader, and ultimately I was the division commander for special operations.
Yeah,
had a fantastic time there. A lot of good people as well. Then life took a turn and started, business wise, I started, my business is Sword International in '98, kind of as a part-time hobby. And since then it's grown. We rebranded probably around 10 years ago. I'm guessing. I can't keep up with time anymore.
Yeah. What is time anyway?
Yeah. And then now you got to do COVID math. When did COVID hit? Let's see, that was 2 and then plus and then minus. And
I still think 2000 was like 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't register.
But we rebranded as Mer Strategic, and because in '07, the only thing we were doing was tactical training for law enforcement and military organizations, mostly law enforcement.
As a private entity.
And when the housing market crashed and budgets dried up and fuel prices rose, agencies are having to rob training budgets to pay for fuel.
Yeah.
So I had to take a step back and kind of look at different, options because there was nothing happening trading wise that was generating income. So I had a friend of mine that I used to teach for a company based out of California as an adjunct instructor, and he asked me to come out and he was an LAPD guy, and they used to team us up all the time to go and teach together around the country and also some international stuff. He's like, "Hey, brother, come out and work the Grammys with me." I think this was actually '05. So this was actually before the crash. So I went out and did the Grammys with him. It's like 3 days of worked with Lincoln Park, which was pretty cool.
And that's like security, like was that security planning or like
no,
security?
we did the personal protection side on that.
Okay.
There was 6 members in the band, so there were 6 of us. Each one of us had a member of the band, and it was definitely a lot of fun. It was at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. And the one thing that I still remember they still bust my balls over is we're on the red carpet. So you have the Staples Center, if you just picture way up here, and then come down path, and way down here is where all the red carpet stuff is. So they have all the press and everything, and then you got to kind of go through a little tinted corridor to get up to where the Staples Center, and then go through screening. So before we got there, we went to a really good Italian restaurant before the Grammys, and we're in tuxes and stuff, and so we're getting about and now Lincoln Park was performing with Paul McCartney, and they were also up for an award.
Okay,
so they're having to stop at every press outlet
and take pictures
and talk.
And stuff, yeah.
So as usual, we're all on comms, and we're just kind of shooting the shit on comms, and I start kind of sweating. I'm like, oh man. And then my stomach bloom, and I'm like, oh God,
I gotta go.
I said, I called my buddy, and I was like, hey brother, I need somebody to watch my guy. He's like, what? I said, I gotta go. He goes, where you go? I gotta poop. And so I'm having to just casually walk down, the edge of the carpet there and kind of get past everybody without drawing, any attention. Man, I hit that back tendon.
That's a mission.
And brother, it felt like a 10-mile run to get to the Staples Center, because that was where the closest bathroom was.
Right.
And so it's all the behind the scenes antics that make it so much fun. Yeah. And we still get mileage out of it this many years later.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did that. That was just, a 2-day gig.
Yeah.
Because we had some stuff the day before and then the day of the Grammys. Then in 2006, I went out with System of a Down, which was really cool, because I was a big fan of theirs, and it's just funny that did a short 6-week run with them on Ozfest 06.
It's very cool.
So then bump forward a year later, that's when they had the crash and all the training funds, stopped, and I was still working. I'd gone to a small agency just because business, was doing well, and it was obviously that young. The kids were still young, and and it just paid so much better. And in 2007, I got asked to come out on tour with a artist named Josh Groban. Awesome guy. I've been with Josh now since 2007, and it was I think the first run was about 8 months.
Wow.
Guessing.
Wow.
Something like that. I mean, we did a lot of cities, a lot of
countries.
Tour. Yeah, it was a full tour.
Yeah.
And it was his world tour. It was the Awake tour, which was world tour.
Okay.
And but since then, not to lay out the whole history of it, but because of the level I came in at, which very fortunate, a lot of guys that go into the music industry, and at the end of the day, we're roadies. At the end of the day, everybody on tour, you're a roadie, and you embrace the term. It's it's a really fun industry. It really is, and there's a lot of good people. I've learned a lot,